right, great. So again, thanks for agreeing to talk to me with me today. Can you just start off, just tell my class just a little bit about who you are and like how Fact Finders Pro came into being?
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me here. I am really excited that whatever we are going to share will be shared with your class, and the more folks get to learn about disinformation is better, right? Educating the community. So my name is Mahenoor Yusuf. I'm the founder and CEO of Fact Finders Pro. I I have I'm a tech entrepreneur, intellectual entrepreneur, Harvard alum. I have years of experience in tech industry. Over 13 years of Dell IT, then Harvard in tech. I was very much involved with Harvard in tech community. So currently, Fact Finders Pro is over almost 90 plus volunteers currently working on the same cause, fighting disinformation. And my goal is to, along with fighting disinformation, create a culture, a learning environment in FFP so that it is an inclusive, growing, nurturing environment.
All right. Um, can you tell us a little bit more about your product? In the class that we've taught or that I'm teaching, we've talked
Mhm.
a lot about um, basically what different forms of propaganda and persuasion,
Yes,
and
yes.
how where where disinformation is becoming is becoming basically
Yes.
there's more of it than we've seen, um, but also we have different people who will disagree on what is disinformation and what is not
Hmm.
disinformation.
Yes.
We can see in especially right after the election, places like Meta said, we're no longer do fact checking because we'll just do get that community notes. And even the government and the State Department, they have a whole organization that fought against disinformation, and they've now dismantled it because
Hmm.
they said that was actually censorship. They weren't actually going
Yes.
after the disinformation. So,
Yeah.
how like what I'm interested in hearing, like how do you go? How are you tackling this issue? Um, and how does your product actually, I don't know, like figure out what is and what is not? And
Yeah. So there are multiple questions here, right?
yeah,
One is that how did I get started,
yeah,
and then how do I how what product we are offering, right?
yeah,
And then how do we identify disinformation, and how do we handle it with the current era? Right. So
yeah.
there are multiple
Yes,
questions.
yes,
So let me first start with where and why I got started with Fact Finders Pro. So, as I've mentioned earlier, that I was very much involved in Harvard in tech community, where I was having dialogues with corporate execs, business leaders, and a subject matter expert in different tech issues within the industry. And I when I dig deeper into it, I came across that disinformation is the biggest challenge within the industry and outside of tech industry. And which intrigued me because I was actually, as an entrepreneur, I was actually waiting to find a problem that will help me give back to the community, but also help me with solving a problem, right? Tackling a problem. So I started researching further, gathering more information related to this information, and definitely it's a huge issue. Over 78 billion is the global cost of fake news, and then 38 billion is yearly stock market loss due to fake news. These are just a few statistics, right? But it's very intriguing, similar to your students, that I was very much intrigued by it. And what also surprised me that there is no true solution out there. There are some organizations who are focusing on bot generated content. Some they are focusing on political bias, but from a consumer perspective, they don't care, right? So from that point on, I came up with a product vision that whatever content a consumer is consuming in whatever platform, our product should be able to help them identify whether the content they are consuming is true or false. So that's a grander vision of the product. And I started researching and started with the B2C, business to consumer space, a fact checking tool. We developed a prototype, and then we went back where we were having difficulty improving the accuracy rate. So went back to the whiteboard, now trying to focus on refining the domain and scope so that we can have a proof of concept. Parallelly, my team is also working on a B2B, business to business space, where we are developing AI-driven solution, validating and evaluating content submitted by the investment seekers, mostly for financial industry,
Mhm.
and starting with evaluating startups. So when I started researching in this domain, I found out that for any startup, there are two hurdles. One is that's solving the problem, creating the product, and second is of course fundraising, right? So when I looked into the B2C space, my goal is to have a freemium model which is free for all and maybe certain functionality based charge, right? So but that is not that much attractive for the investors, right? So that's why I have two parallel track in B2B space where ROI will be higher for the investors. So at B2B space, we have a prototype ready. It's getting out next month. We are very excited and are targeting to have our first customer onboarded in third quarter. So that's what we have planned. Um, uh, any questions so far related to
Sure. The
the product?
um the so you have a business to business and you have a client. Is it you said it's in the financial industry?
Yes, it is for financial industry. We are
Yeah.
starting with the venture capitalists. We are going to expand into investment banking, credit union, brokerage firm, but starting with the venture capitalist first. And like I said, the prototype will be out next month. We are very excited about it. So first proof of concept.
All
And
right.
immediately after that, we are going to focus on MVP, which is that actually full-fledged product so that we can onboard the customer. Um, so from a startup perspective, like VC perspective, there are several components they need to validate, right? So whether it's founders' background information or it's a legal validation, market size, competitive analysis, financial analysis, validating financial content. So that is why our solution will be modular based. We will start with one first module, launch it, and immediately move on to the upcoming modules that we have already planned. We do have a 5 years roadmap planned out.
Nice. So
And go ahead,
I
please.
was going to say just so by the nature of this this venture capitalist, um, um, I would say if you're looking at like I don't know, um, the like valuations and
Yes.
when something has been announced, I would imagine the product is probably like that's more cut and dry. Like it's not like debating a political issue. It's like It's like, all right, did this happen or this didn't happen? Yep.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So what we wanted to do is that perfect our engine, the backend, right?
Yep.
Where we are introducing a scoring process, validation process, suitability scoring. All these should we wanted to perfect, improve the accuracy, and financial industry it has to be 100%
Right.
or near
Right.
100% accuracy rate, right? So that way it will be, once we have an engine ready, then it's easier for us to expand, right? We have already looked into part of our research, looked into 5 domain, 17 verticals and 37 use cases, already identified that we can actually expand right away.
All right. That's very exciting.
Yes, very exciting.
Yeah.
And from you could hear the passion behind it, right?
Yes.
You might also know the life of a founder is that every waking hour is working on a startup.
Right.
I am tremendously enjoying it. And I think the reason behind it is that it is a passion that I'm driving. It is a solution that will help give back to the community and tremendously impact the society. So that is what I am targeting for. I am targeting to create FFP as a brand image for fact checking tool, whether it is for consumer space or it is for enterprise level business to business. People should know that for fact checking, there is Fact Finders Pro.
Okay.
You had another question related to how do we manage the issue of disinformation with multiple opinions and debate? That's
Yeah.
one of the I would say that most talked about agenda of the current time, aside from
Right.
the disinformation. So combating disinformation doesn't mean that we are censoring, right? It does. What we are trying to do is that verify fact, not opinion. Verify fact, which is backed by evidence, which is backed by validated by multiple subject matter experts, so that there is no confusion. So if you can stick to that norm, I don't see there is a problem identifying whether the content was true or false. Right. And again, there is another uh, related topic is again combating information is not impacting freedom of speech, right? Because what we are trying to do is helping people with better equipped with information so that they can make their own decision, right? But
Right.
so that means, and we are not carving their speech, we are not carving how they are going to think, how they are going to what they are going to say, right? That is not our
Right.
goal. Our goal is to end consumer or end users equipped with enough evidence, enough information so that they can make their own decision and form their own opinion.
Right. Great.
Mm,
Yeah.
and there are different techniques also involved, right? And I did bring that up, that verifying evidence, triangulation, which means that multiple validating through multiple sources, and then also tracking the metadata. So technologically, there are different ways we can solve this problem.
Yeah, this is that's one of the reasons why I was like so interested in finding out more. Um because the like combating disinformation is extremely time consuming because you have to like go through and like first of all you have to find the information that's out there and then like all right then find like it's would be so much work. Like I think it's one of the reasons why like the large social media companies, well, what's impossible. So we'll outsource it just to the community because we it's like we they couldn't possibly hire enough people to really actually do it. But this
Hmm.
if there's a technical solution that can do it at scale, that's
Hmm.
like a huge game changer, right?
Our goal is to have a near real-time solution.
Yeah.
So that is what we are targeting for, and we strongly believe that we will be able to do that. So this the product that we are developing, we are hopeful that is going to address all the problems. The issue that you brought up, that it is time consuming, right?
Right.
So from a consumer perspective, and then even from financial industry where we are starting the B2B space, what we have found out that venture capitalists, they spend 8 to 6 month, 8 week to 6 month to do the residency. Such a waste of time, right? And what's happening from for the venture capitalist space, that every day they receive thousands of requests of invest from the investment seekers, from the startups, that we need investment. This is our pitch deck. This is our information, but they
Mhm.
don't have the time to actually go through that. That's such a loss. So and then when they look into the cases that they look into, actually only focus on from their network, from referrals, right?
Right.
So what our tool is going to do, not only reduce time, right, almost a real time solution, but also improve their capacity and, of course, reduce cost. So this is going to
Nice.
tremendously do a cost saving um, for a VC. A certain range of VC who are spending almost 10 million per deal, they, by leveraging our tool, they're going to be able to save almost 15 million for 5 years, and almost 3 million for per year.
That's great. Um, the I don't know if you want to say what you're charging for for your service or not. I know you had mentioned your initial thought for consumer would be like a freemium, then with like a, you know, a way
Mhm.
to like to add up. Um, for your kind of this first client,
Yes.
um, do you want to talk about how much you're
So
charging?
the only
Yeah.
thing I would like to share is that for general consumer, it should be free.
Yep.
Because again, the purpose of starting the FFP is that giving back to the community. So whatever engine we are going to develop, we want to give a free service to the general consumer, regardless how expensive it is to build.
Yep.
That
Well,
is
that's
my
great.
goal. Yes.
I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
Yeah.
My team is very excited. Of course, I am excited, but my team is also very much dedicated and excited. It's not matter of joke, right? That when you see that 90 something volunteers dedicating their time to fighting disinformation, serve for a purpose. It is, I'm very grateful the amount of support that I have received from the community for this.
It's great. Um, in addition to sharing this recorded interview with my students, some of them might be interested in reaching out to you. Would you be comfortable with sharing your email?
Absolutely, right?
Okay.
So you have my email,
Yep.
Fact Finders email. They can reach out to me through LinkedIn. They can also, you have already shared with them our website information. So I would love to speak with individuals, love to mentor people who are trying to with the similar mindset, right? Fighting for this information.
All right. That's great. Do you have any questions for me?
I would love to hear from your student. That would be so interesting,
Okay.
right? Because it is their interest triggered this interview. So I would love to hear from them. And so if you can share their feedback once you share this interview, I would really appreciate that.
Will do. All right.
Okay.
So, thank you very much. Whenever you get the recording, if you send it to me, I would love that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so it's gonna take a week or so to send you edited version to make sure that we have a proper branding in place, but shouldn't be any problem.
All right. Excellent.
Neil, please reach out to me if you have any questions. Reach out to me if there are scope of directly working with your students.
All right, I will.
Okay.
Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Bye.
Okay.